Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I'm very much honored and privileged to be among you, talking about these very important issues, the tropical neglected diseases. I've I have I've chosen to talk about the most neglected tropical disease, neglected even from the authorized bodies, the Ministry of Health. And the information about snake bite is very meager, even among health professionals. And even our curricula at medical schools are not very much taking the issue of snake bites on board with them. So sharing with Dr. Mohammed Agab the fact that we are coming from the same rural areas, we have a lot of experiences with the snake bites, either to someone, loved one to us, or someone's whom we know, and we have different experiences. Generally speaking, my talk is going to be more scientific than just raising or drawing attention to the issue. Snake bites are broadly classified into poisonous and non-poisonous. Globally, the non-poisonous outnumber the poisonous one, globally. So more than about 60% of snakes are non-poisonous or non-venomous because they don't produce venoms. But most of our, as we shall see, the majority of our snakes in Sudan are poisonous. According to the type of venom this snake produce, snakes are classified into these three classes: Elapidae, Viperidae, and Hydrophidae. And this classification depends on the type of venoms or the action of the venom they produce. Elapidae, their venoms are neurotoxic, their target is the nervous system. Viperidae, they are vasculotoxic or hemotoxic, while Hydrophidae are myotoxic. Other names, other way of naming them, Elapidae are the cobra group of snakes. Viperidae are vipers, الحيات, and Hydrophidae are the sea snakes. So detail a bit about these elapids or Elapidae. They include the cobra, the common cobra, and the king cobra. And it is well known that cobra is among the, according to the belief we have, is among the most poisonous snakes in our setting. However, this type of snake, which is called crate, is more poisonous than cobra, more lethal, and more killing. And there are a number of types of these crates. Fortunately, we don't have crates in Sudan. We don't have crates in Africa altogether. They are endemic in Asia and South Asia, and particularly in India. So these are the cobra, common cobra. They are seen throughout many countries, including Sudan. As we shall see, we have a number of types of cobras. They are characterized by this neck web. At the side of the neck, they have an extension of a web, making this hood. And hood is, sometimes we describe it in Arabic as tanda or daraga. And it's actually used to protect the essential parts of the snake. In this hood, they're characterized by presence of these spots, these marks. They could be one, we call it monocelate, or they could be double, and we call it double spectacle cobras. This is the neck of the cobra, and this is the hood. the hood is just a web, an extension of the neck. Very characteristic. When it comes to the details, all snakes, they do not have hearing devices. They don't have ears. And their eyes are devoid of lids. They don't have eyelids. And their bodies are covered with these scales. This is an example of a monocellate cobra, and this is the hood. Cobras are found in Sudan, and they are given different names in different areas. Common name is they are called Abdarak, and this is part of the famous song. إن أداك وكتر ما بيقول أديك, describing الكرم. But the other is أبدرك الموشح كله بالسوميت, meaning that شجاع, poisonous, toxic. And the somit is the scales seen in the body. This, probably you know this gentleman. He's a close friend of mine. And I take this opportunity to ask permission online for him just to display his photo. This is a سعادة اللواء أحمد خميس. كان واليا في غرب كردفان وجنوب كردفان والنيل الأبيض. كنيته أبكروكرو. Abkurukuru is another type of cobra in Sudan. طبعا سموه Abkurukuru because he is toxic and he's dangerous, he's serious man. This is it, and this is Daraga, the web or the tender. And these are the scales. And sometimes these cobras are called absomit, referring to these body scales. The scales could be here, on the head, on the belly, on the body, anywhere. This is a special type of cobra seen in mainly Nuba Mountains, and it's called the Nubian black cobra. Nubian black cobra. It's a common one. It's one of the dangerous cobras seen in Sudan, and it is characterized by the fact that it does not only bite, but it can spit, throwing the venom. They can spit the venom. They can spray the venom as a defensive mechanism. And this sprayed venom, if it ever touches the eyes, it might be dangerous. However, it is not that dangerous on the skin, unwounded skin. And if you just wash this venom, this spitted venom, that is all needed. This is another example of our Nubian black cobra seen in Nuba Mountains. This is just an example of crate. As I already mentioned, crates are not existing in our country, and they are not therefore any threat to our life. The most common types of snake belong to this family, which is called Vibridae or vipers, or what we call الحيات, جمع حية. And they are of different groups, pitless. They don't have pits on their heads, or pitted. The most common one is this one, the saw-scaled viper. The saw-scaled vipers is among us the commonest one. Most of the reported snake bites is because of this type of snake, and most of the fatalities, and this is resulting from snake bites, is from this snake. It's also called the carpet snake, carpet viper. Carpet because the color looks like the carpet. This is the carpet viper. And what is important about snake bites, you need to know the names, the local names, and you need to know, so it's not that academic issue to be taught. you need to be equipped with the indigenous knowledge of your population about snakes. How do they name them? طبعا one of the common names given to this type, there are different names in Sudan given to this type of snake. They are called الوشواشة, sometimes some shidegat, medeshina, and they are called no, sorry, if I go back, I want also to show something. So is Manchar scales. So they have these scales which look like saw teeth, and this is what they are called. And these are these scales. And these scales, one of the defense mechanism uh, uh, done by this type of snakes, they just rub these snakes over one another, and this will make the voice, the classical voice you hear. And this voice is described in different names. Washwasha is the voice. Also called some shiregat, because the head is a bit and the cheeks are bigger. This is another type, the Russell Viper. This is the third type. This one is not very aggressive, and usually the defense mechanism is they pretend to be sleeping. They become motionless, and they camouflage their color with the surrounding so as not to be seen by others. And this is why they are called Nawama or Nawama, because they pretend to be sleeping just as as a defense mechanism. Forget about this. This is another type, and you must have seen this nice color in most of our shoes, our marakib. They have this color. They call it a dabi. Actually, it is one type of the vipers. Another type, another type. This is a special one, another viper, because they have these horns, and they are common in the eastern part of the country, and they have these horns in their head. And therefore, sometimes they are given the name Amgrinat or Amgurun, and we have all heard the name Amshinin Amgrinat. This is Amshinin Amgrinat. This is another one. Okay, this is a special one. Black, glistening, viper that is usually found buried under the ground. And therefore, it is also called the burrowing viper, or the burrowing asp, or the burrowing adder. And therefore, the local name is Abdafan, because it burrows itself beneath the ground. Like when it comes to these sea snakes, there are about 20 types of sea snakes. They are all poisonous. Unlike the vipers, we show some of the non-poisonous vipers that are common around us, and they are myotoxic. You know, we said the vipers are vasculotoxic, hemotoxic. The cobra are neurotoxic. The sea snakes are myotoxic. They mainly affect the muscles. They cause muscle stiffness and immobility of muscles. This is an example of sea snake. This is how to differentiate growth structurally between cobras and vipers. They are different in their how they look, their body, their head, their maxillaries, bones, their eyes, their fangs. So what is a fang? Okay, later on we'll explain what is fang. These are commonly known by the public as the teeth of the snake. They are not really teeth, as we shall explain. And cobras are egg-laying snakes, while vipers are viviparous. They give birth to young snakes. Of course, the difference in the type and the action of the venom. Cobra are neurotoxic, and vipers are hematotoxic or vasculotoxic snakes. So, what is snake venom? When a snake bites, it excretes the venom. And the venom is the toxin that is produced, which we describe as either hemotoxin, neurotoxin, or cytotoxin. In essence, it is a modified saliva, and it is produced by a modified parotid glands of the snake, and these glands are just located by the side, uh, each side of the skull, just behind the eyes. And the venom is stored in a sac, special sac. So when biting, this venom is pumped from the sac to the victim, and it has a pumping mechanism. And the venom is also toxic to the snake, in contradistinction to the common belief. And therefore, they have special channels that connect these sacs to the venom. So the venom is ejected from the sac. It goes through these channels to be injected into the venom. These channels are called fangs. They look like teeth, but they are not really teeth. They are hollow tubes that just transport venom from their sac to the inside the body of the victim. So what is the venom? Venom is a combination of different types of enzymes. They are lytic in action, and different types of other proteins. Each venom produces a number of enzymes, not one. And these enzymes, they are lytic enzymes, just like our lysozymes, and they are synergistic in action. They potentiate one another. And so these are different types of these enzymes. If you are interested in the names, again, they are all lytic enzymes, other compounds, and of course, these venoms are only produced by poisonous snakes. Non-poisonous snakes do not produce venom. They don't have fangs, or even if they have fangs, these fangs are short and solid. They are not canalized. They are solid. And poisonous snakes are, again, morphologically different from non-poisonous. And it is important, for the sake of how to deal with this patient, to know whether the biting snake is poisonous or not. One way to know this is to ask the local name. So if you know the local names of non-poisonous snakes, then you can differentiate. Probably you know this one. This is an example of a non-poisonous snake, viper. The local name for this type of snake is burul. And because it is not poisonous, it cannot use biting as a defense mechanism. So how they depend on just fleeing away, running away. If they see any threat, they just run away. And this is why traditionally they are described as coward animals, جبانة. وحتى الزول الجبان بيقول له زي البرود، لأن البرود does not attack, does not bite, it's non-poisonous. This is the same. This is burul. This is burul. And this is another example of a non-poisonous snake we have. Probably you know it. This is it, another one. So this is asala. And asala is another example of a non-poisonous snake. This is asala. We just part this mechanism of toxicity is just lytic enzymes. They digest whatever they come to and they cause their action. When it comes to science, usually you have local science and systemic science. For Iliopits, the cobra and the other members of the group, they have this local science. Among them is the fang marks. You find the fang mark. You can find the fang themselves. And there is burning sensation, swelling, serosagmus discharge, and local symptoms in this type are milder compared to the vipers. When it comes to the vipers, local symptoms are intense, while for cobras, local symptoms are mild. Okay, this is an elapid, and this is the funk. This is the funk, and this is a sang, the sac of uh, of the venom. The venom is stored here, and it has to be transported through this funk to be injected in the venom. One of the differences between cobras and the vipers is the location of the fang. You can see in vipers the fangs are located a bit posterior. The systemic effects are classified into paralytic and non-paralytic, pre-paralytic and paralytic. Sorry, before paralysis because they are mainly neurotoxic. At the end of the day, they affect nerves and cause paralysis. But before that, they can cause other prodromal symptoms like vomiting, headache, giddiness, and weakness or lethargy. But when the paralysis occurs, it manifests in form of these ptosis, just robopilis, of thermoplegia, drowsiness, confusion, bulbar paralysis, respiratory failure, and death due to coma and death. And this is why they are dangerous. So when it comes to vipers, as we said, the local symptoms are intense compared to the other group, to the cobras. Rapid swelling is a characteristic, discoloration, blister formation, because they are vasculotoxic. Their target is blood vessels and blood itself. Obituary, they cause blistering, bleeding from the side of the bite, pain, and as we shall come to know, and the systemic manifestation, they can cause epistaxis, hemolysis, hematomasis, bleeding gums, hematuria, melena, or bleeding symptoms. Lakin they are a very common cause of DIC. They cause disseminated intravascular coagulation. And they can cause shock, and they are common cause of renal failure. The story told by Dr. Mahmoud Agab, those bitten by these type of snakes, they develop acute renal failure. So renal failure is acute. It might necessitate vigorous treatment, dialysis, and these things. And the outcome depends on a number of factors, as we shall see. So this is a viper, and these are the fangs of the viper. They are located anteriorly compared to those of cobras. Another one, these are the fangs, pair fangs, located anteriorly. So these are manifestations of vipers, vasculotoxic, coagulation abnormalities due to direct venom, interference with coagulation, DIC, and disease. So blistering, bleeding, anything. Okay, then the sea snakes, they are all poisonous on the other hand. They can also manifest by local manifestations or systemic. The manifestations are all muscles, myalgia, muscle stiffness, myoglobinuria, and this can all also cause renal failure. So these type also can result in renal failure, but for a different reason. Okay, just forget about this. So the factors that determine the outcome, there are many. One of them is the body weight. The bigger the body, the lesser the toxicity. بالتالي they are more dangerous among children because their bodies are smaller. They have number aggravating factors. Like one of these are the part bitten. Bite on face or trunk are more lethal than bites low down in the legs and away from the head, just like rabies. Exercise is a very important. Any exercise, any motion of the bitten side is directly related to grave outcome, poor outcome. And therefore, when we come to discuss management, immobilization is important part. Immobilization of the bitten part. There are individual factors like idiosyncratic reaction, hypersensitivity, and the bite characteristic. Generally, we have two types of bite. Is it business bite or defense bite? Of course, snakes are not targeting us. They only bite us when they feel they are in danger. And this type of bite is called defense. And a defense bite is going to be devastating. And the amount of venom injected is going to be very big. Because defense bite is serious compared to business. Business, they usually go, most of these snakes are nocturnal in activity. They go for their preys to kill and eat, like chickens, like eggs, like these things. So this is a business bite, and in this business bite, they don't need to inject a lot of venom. This is not dangerous. Like in other factors include number of bites, the depth of bite, duration, and other factors. So we can the prognosis depends on the time of bite. We mean the time lapse between the bite and the intervention. The activity at the time, already mentioned, exercise is associated with grave outcome. And first aid is very important. Usually, these people are beaten in the away from hospitals. Most affected people are farmers and animal herders and these things. And people usually do first aid. If they do first aid in a proper way, this will affect the outcome. And and the findings in clinical examination, if you find these signs of systemic manifestations like coma, breathlessness, this is a determinant. But a laboratory determinant is what we call 20-minute whole blood clotting time. Particularly, this is important for vipers, for the vascular toxic. If the whole blood clotting time is more than 20 minutes, this is bad. This is poor. This is not good. These are other investigations. ELISA, coagulation profiles, blood gases, urine examination, others, ECG, and this. Then when it comes to management, there is local management, there is specific management, and there is supportive management. And also management is divided into first aid done by lay people in the field, in the site of the bite, and hospital management. This is the outline, the principles of first aid. Right, you have to do things right. Right is the abbreviation R for reassure the patient. It has been found Most of fatalities are due to the panic and the neurogenic shock as perceived by the patient. So reassurance is a very important tool to affect the outcome. The second is immobilize. The beaten bar part should be treated as if it has a fracture. So it has to be immobilized the same way as fractured limb. The fourth principle is take this patient to hospital. And most of our people, they just keep these patients at home and they try traditional medicine. And the fourth is to tell the patient about the symptoms that the victim has. So this is about uh, first aid. And it is important to raise the awareness of public about what they should do. In the first aid, there are what we call do's, something that you need to do, and don'ts, things that you shouldn't do. Assurance of the patient is important. Immobilization is important. But application of tourniquet is controversial. It's very controversial. In the first aid setting, not in the hospital. Because in hospital you have to do you have to apply a tourniquet, like in with precautions. You only want to prevent venous return, but you should not obstruct arterial blood supply. If you allow public to do tourniquet, they will do it very tightly, and they will impede arterial blood supply, and the tourniquet will itself become a problem, and the limb will end up with gangrene and these things. Things you shouldn't do, you shouldn't incise. And we still are talking about first aid. Because there is a misconception saying that you should incise, make an incision at the site, and you suck. This is bad. This should not be. Incision, hairless. Suction, you cannot suck a venom that already circulated in circulation. Then once the bite is done, the venom enters circulation and it will just circulate. On the other hand, suction might be harmful to the sucker itself. If there is a wound in the mouth or there is ulcer, it's going to be bad. Application of anything like ice, massage, mechanical treatment should be avoided. In hospital, the specific treatment is anti-snake venom. Anti-snake venom is hyperimmune serum, ready-made antibodies. They are prepared in other animals. They have their own cons and they have their own problems. And therefore, they have to be given according to a well-defined indications. These are some indications. Spontaneous systemic bleeding. If the whole blood clotting time is more than 20 minutes, if there is thrombocytopenia, if there is shock paralysis, if the local swelling is very fast, if it's more than half the vitamin bit is becoming swollen, or the swelling expand very rapidly. This is we don't need to spend a lot of time on this. This is how it is given, and it has its problems. It has its disadvantage, pain, hematuria. It can cause this compartment syndrome, but it can cause severe hypersensitivity reaction, even anaphylactic reaction. Nevertheless, it is not advised to do sensitivity tests for anti-snake venom because you have to give it. But if there is sensitivity, hypersensitivity reaction, or anaphylaxis, you have to treat. So if an adverse reaction occurs, then you have, these are the signs, you know them, they are early and late, and this is what you should do. adrenaline, antihistamine, hydrocortisone, and this how to go on. If there is no response, you can go for further drugs, bleeding, so on. And always you need to give supportive therapy. If there is bleeding, you have to control the bleeding. If there is shock, you need to treat the shock. If there is coagulopathy, you need to deal with it in forms of you may need to give fresh frozen plasma, cryoprecipitate, whole blood, blood concentrate, and these things. Also, if there is bulbar paralysis, also you need to do these things. Tracheostomy to make sure respiration, the airways are patent, respiration is okay, like there's tracheostomy, the tracheal tube, these drugs like neostigmine and these things. So this is in short about snake bites. Scorpions is another poisonous animals, and we talk about the snake bites. But scorpions do not bite; they sting. So scorpions sting, and their venom is also a modified saliva, but usually stored here in the last segment. And it is passed not by a fang, by this spike, by this hypodermic needle-like apparatus. So people are stung by scorpions, but they are bitten by snakes. Scorpion bites, there are many types of scorpions. About 80 species are found in Sudan. They are 8-legged arthropods. Their venom is clear, colorless, and it is either neurotoxic or hemotoxic or both. In terms of toxicity, it's more toxic than a snake bite. In terms of concentration and in terms of effect. But because the amount of venom passed by the sting is small, so the overall effect is not that dangerous. So they are only dangerous to children, and the mortality is very high, usually in children. Others, they suffer pain, they suffer a lot of symptoms, but mortality is not that high, despite the fact that the venom is very toxic. We don't need to go about details about the science because of the time. And the treatment is also immobilize the limb, give painkiller, usually lidocaine and these things. And also there is a specific antivenom. Important point to note is that morphine is contraindicated. Now, challenges when talking about snake bites and scorpion stings, availability of antivenom. This is not available in most of the time. Dr. Mohammed Ahmed Agab was only saying even other medications are not available. Antivenom is not ready. One important thing to say, we have to have specific antivenom according to the type of snake, and this is not usually possible. Sometimes because the snakes are killed, you will not be allowed to see them, because sometimes because the health professionals do not know the local names, so they don't know what type of snake is it, or therefore they usually use polypatent or type of antivenom. Like so if there is possibility to have the specific, that is better. Another important point to raise here, in some of the venoms, they don't have yet available antivenoms, like the one we said, the burrowing asp, Abdafan. Abdafan has no specific antivenom. And one of the names given to Abdafan, one of the old names was Abashara. And Abashara, because people believe if you are bitten by Abdafan, you will die in 10 minutes. Another challenge is the lack of the knowledge and concern among health professionals. This is very serious Said no. There is no due concern is given to the issue. Health professionals are not well acquainted with these local names and what to do. Most of these professionals, when they are faced with snake bite, they probably they don't know actually what to do. With that, you need to raise the concern of health professionals regarding these poisonous animals. Our health care institutions, both they are poor, even before the war, and of course, after war or during the war, they become even worse. And one of the challenges in the big number of misconceptions that are in place among public. So what we recommend, this is probably funny, establishing national snakebite registry. Let us just hope. Let us hope that things will become. But at least we need to know. We need to make some sort of a data available somehow. We need to train health professionals, not all health professionals, uh, students at different schools. Our curricula are lacking this part of problem. We have to improve our health settings, and also we have to raise the public health awareness and to rectify the very many misconceptions around. These this is These are other examples, few examples of other poisonous animals. This is bees, nahl. This is poisonous frogs, and these are poisonous spiders. The issue is big. I meant just to introduce it to draw attention to the magnitude of the problem, to the wealth of information and knowledge we need to gather, and then to act. Thank you. Hope it made sense.